Hey, what's good? What's good?
Hey y'all, welcome back to Blue Talk episode 7.
And the topic for tonight would be stepping into caregiving. I am Cool Blue, of course. This is,
Lady Blue.
and we'll get right to it. But this is your topic, so I'm going to let you kick it off.
Okay, so we're going to talk about stepping into caregiving because since us as millennials are getting older, that means our parents are getting older or our grandparents are getting older, whoever. And this kind of pushes us into the role of caregiver and not necessarily just our children, if you have children, or not just yourself. So, as someone who's gone through this basically my entire life with various grandparents or great aunts and uncles or whoever, I just figured I would give the steps that I wish I had known stepping into this, especially as an adult. And just like things that will definitely help you transition into this role or step into being a caregiver. So, did you want to add anything?
Well, I necessarily haven't had to deal with it as much as you have, but just kind of saying the dynamics of what you've had to go through the past years is kind of made me more appreciative towards it. Like I said, I dealt with it with a little bit with your grandfather in his later years, but I haven't, and my grandmother, of course, but I didn't have to deal with it on a level of my mother and other people. So I've kind of always been the outside person looking in this situation. I haven't had to deal with it on a day-to-day basis. So it made me more appreciative of the people who actually sacrifice their time, effort, and energy in order to do, that in particular. So, I tip my hat to people. It's like, and those type of people don't necessarily get as much praise as they should. And until you go through it yourself, you don't necessarily know what type of manpower or the type of hours of dedication that it takes in order for you to, do what you do.
Yes. So, I'm going to start off with the definition. This just comes off of Google. Caregiver, a family member or paid helper who regularly looks after a child or a sick, elderly, and or disabled person. Just to give you an idea of what the real definition is and not what just, I guess, the kitchen table talk definition would be. One of the things is how to prep for this transition. And one of the things that I wish I had known about going into this, especially as an adult, which is set a schedule with the person you're taking care of. And I stress this because it helps set boundaries for your personal time, because you will need your own personal space, personal time just to get away. And it also lets the person know that you're taking care of when to schedule stuff. So if they know you're unavailable Wednesday because you're walking your dog or you have some kind of kickboxing class, they should be mindful on knowing that that's your personal time. I would say stand firm to this, because as much as we love our family members, especially those that age, they like to do things in their time, because for so long they were either catered to that way or just like you and I, they're just used to getting up and doing stuff when they want to do it.
Yeah.
So you have to stand firm and definitely put your foot down on this one, because it'll definitely help set boundaries later on, because you will need your own personal time. And what are your thoughts on that? So, like, from viewing it and what you've experienced.
I'll say that, just from my personal experience, just in life, like when it comes to, like setting boundaries and just having that set time for you to be able to deal with stuff, everybody needs that. So, it takes a lot out of you just to be on go 24/7, 365. And a lot of times people will sit back and say, oh, well, that's your job, like you signed. And it's a lot of times it's not even something that you signed on for. It's just that it's something that you do in the moment. And like I said, once again, I tip my hat to anybody who does it. But you know, like having that space and that energy and that time to just, you know, reset, and you know, it makes that much of a difference. Or at least I've seen it with you and other people, you know, like my mom and whatever the case may be. Just being able to see them have that time just to even go out and get a drink, or just to go out and maybe walk around a mall or whatever, you know, like just, you know, something like that. I mean, what might be seen as small to you may be the world to someone else. So,
like a prime example, personally, my grandmother has a particular night where she goes to Bible study.
mm-hmm.
So if she goes to Bible study, and like it's just him and I, we'll try to just hang out around the house and kind of do stuff around the house, since, you know, she's away.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's the rare occasion where she's away and
We're away,
you're away,
oh, and I'm away,
you know, I relish the fact that, you know, for the one time, and like maybe out of 5 times out the year, I actually have the house to myself. Like peace and quiet, just me and the cat. So I definitely relish in that time. And, you know, use that for face masks or dumb stuff. Or just like, I like watching YouTube. So I'll probably go back and watch one of our old videos or one of my favorites. Just depends.
right.
My next tip, and oh yeah, if it looks a little different, we are coming live from the last day of Something in the Water in Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So, whew, it's been real.
Yeah, definitely.
The next thing I wanted to definitely put out there to help with someone is to have a support system and or someone to vent to. Breaks will be needed for the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
The way you get tired of your kids get tired of you, you know? Or the way you get tired of going to your job and you need a mental health day. You will need a mental health day from the person you're taking care of. Like, it just comes with the territory. Sometimes fun is just makes you appreciate them more, or your time more, or whatever. Like, yeah. So, and when I say, you know, have a support system, definitely at least someone, if you can, help step in for a full day, like once a month. Whether that's taking that person, like, hey, come stay with me. Like, if you live with the person you're taking care of, and that person like, hey, come stay with me for a night, you know, let me take care of such and such and whatever else. Like, if someone could do that for you, that's amazing and the ultimate blessing. Mm-hmm. And cherish that person. Or either in other ways, like, say if you're the only child and you always do the grocery shopping for your mom. Mm-hmm. Maybe her best friend or that neighbor may step in once in a while and do that for you. That's the kind of support system we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Like I said, that's in the idealistic world. Sometimes we're doing this on our own and have to just schedule something separate. Also, just have someone who you can vent to or listen to. Mm-hmm. Like someone who understands your situation, not thinking like what you're complaining about is trivial or you're going crazy. Like someone who really knows the person that you're caring for and like what exactly you're going through. Because sometimes just having a listening ear, just an unbiased listening ear, helps makes things so much easier. What would you add about a support system?
A support system in my mind, more or less, like you said, is a person who not only listens but actually puts some positive input. Is definitely underrated in this realm. But you know, like it's a difference between putting input, you know, like and positive input. And the reason why I keep going back to positive input is that like you have enough people in your ear telling you all the negatives of what's taking place, what's going on, why you're doing this in this time frame, why you're doing that in that time frame, why you aren't, you know, putting your foot forward with this, how come you aren't able to do this, why aren't you able to move on with your life, yada yada, you know, and then your own insecurities come into play as well. So, you know, it's definitely important to, you know, have that space to, you know, allow yourself that option.
Yeah. I would say, like, even for you, like, when your cousin was taking care of your grandmother, when you were around, instead of making him do everything, you stepped in and assisted because you knew, like, she, you know, he's there all the time. Like, help out. So that's simple as that. Also, another piece of advice I would definitely suggest that I'm probably going to partake in the near future is therapy. Like, I really wish I knew the significance and the power of therapy and things like that, and how it could have gave me the tools a lot sooner or helped me realize what I needed a lot sooner. Like I said, I haven't been to therapy myself, but especially if you're like an only child, or you know, you're the only one in your parents' region, your siblings might be somewhere else or anything like that, or you're doing this by yourself, I definitely would suggest therapy. Like, I've heard of wonders, I've tried meditation and stuff, but I really think that's one of my next steps when it comes to this whole caregiving thing, is to go to therapy and really get those tools that help assist with, am I overreacting or am I on track with how I feel about this? Or, you know, maybe I should step back and look at it from the person I'm taking care of perspective instead of just my own. So I would definitely suggest not only that support system and someone to vent to, but a therapist, because it gets hard out here. We're going to end it on that topic. I feel like that's probably one of the best ways I could help and give advice on that. Like I said, because we're all getting older, which means our parents are getting older, our aunts and uncles and things, and we're going to have to step up in ways we just never thought of. So I definitely would suggest that. I know that there are different programs and things that help assist or show you routes on how to get assistance with caregiving. I never was in a position to have to use those services, basically because the situation that my grandfather was in, he was a veteran, so the VA took care of a lot of those things for us when it came to him. And with my grandmother, all her stuff is already set up, so it's just the family doing their part. So, but there are programs and different organizations out there. Just use your Googles and look out for them. Also, to end this on an even better note, 2 of the Miss Four Figure DMV queens have went on to become national queens in the Miss Four Figure USA pageant. So we have to give a shout out.
Most definitely.
Yes, to Miss Latrice Wiggins. She won Miss Four Figure DMV USA Plus, the category I competed in. And then we got to give a shout out to Miss Tasia Buer. She won Miss Four Figure DMV USA, just the regular title. Well, not regular, but you know.
I got
the main crown. And Miss Lisa, she didn't walk away with anything, but she is still a queen here in the DMV, and she looked absolutely gorgeous while competing. So we have to give a shout out to her and to the director, Miss Lorraine, for producing such wonderful queens.
Miss Ross.
Yes. What she call you all the time?
King Kenny Hill.
Oh yeah, for her King Kenny. And then also, something in the water was this weekend, April 26th, 27th, 28th. The first day got canceled because of the weather, but I mean the storms were rough.
Right.
Second day kind of compiled everything, and now we're on the first day, which was supposed to be the second day. You get what I'm saying? But now we're on the last day.
Right.
Just finished it. We decided to leave early. Like, we missed
Six.
food.
We missed Teddy Riley,
Charlie Wilson,
Chris Brown,
and Anderson Pot.
Yeah, how about it? So we missed the steak and potatoes of the lineup, but we had literally been out there since like noon. So we had been cooked, fried, and then there's like after yesterday we had been cooked, fried. So like we made it
salted.
we made it the push, and by that point in time, it was pretty much.
Plus, Chris Brown and Anderson Paak, we kind of want to see in their own concerts.
Yeah. Because I feel like Chris Brown could put on a festival by himself, to be completely honest. But that's just my personal thing.
He could go on to not release a new album like Beyonce.
Yeah, exactly. I'm about to say like Beyonce could put on a whole festival. Like Chris Brown can by himself put on a whole festival. But
and is there anybody else we need to do congratulations to? Or anything? Oh, and sorry about last week. Last week was Easter holiday. And we were on the road again too.
Yeah, that's it.
So we decided to take advantage of the holiday and celebrate Easter and recover from traveling.
Right.
So, anything else you need to announce?
I'm kind of stuck on stupid right now. Like I'm trying to figure out if it's anything that I realistically need, but just the fact that us enjoying this weekend. A couple of steak and potato type joints to come from me in particular, and I know I've been talking about this midnight music, but like realistically,
it's coming.
Yeah,
he has no choice.
Who's that? Yeah, what she said, but But yeah, we gonna end it there. Yep, right there.
Well, we love y'all, and you got on naked plain faces today.
Oh, you always got my naked plain face, but
you got my naked plain face today.
Get out the camera.
All right. Well, I love y'all.
I like you.
He love y'all too.
I don't.
Have a good one.
Don't.